It's a sport that has always begged the question, why? Why would any world-class athlete subject their body to so much weight, strain, pain? The answer may never be understood, but their motivation, devotion, and grit are never in question. Once again, some of the world's most courageous competitors have come to this annual and prestigious championship to settle an age-old question: who is the world's strongest? Two Americans come to this year's final on opposite trajectories. A 37-year-old four-time champion looking to tie an all-time mark and cement his legacy. The other nearly a decade younger and looking to begin his. Then there's the defending champ, who just last year finally captured the one title which had eluded him for so long. A title that finally validated an illustrious career. A title that he intends to keep for even longer. All the men here come with their own unique stories. But the one thing they all share is an enduring and unwavering perseverance not seen in any other sport, and an innate desire to simply be the world's strongest man. This is the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man Final. Situated on Florida's west coast between Sarasota and Tampa lies Bradenton, an area with an old Florida ambiance, real and authentic. An area proud of its commitment to preservation that is clearly validated by its natural and pristine sands and shores. Brent Stover alongside former two-time All-American and Super Bowl champion, it's Aaron Taylor. We began this competition with 25 men. We are down to 10, all chasing the title of World's Strongest Man.
This is a hugely competitive group of finalists we've got here with many storylines, so buckle up. Let's start with our reigning champion, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson of Iceland. The mountain from Game of Thrones suffered a plantar fascia injury in his left foot in just the second event of the qualifying round, but has been braving the pain and is determined to defend. Then there's Brian Shaw of the United States, determined at age 37 to notch a record-tying 5th World's Strongest Man title. Last year's runner-up, the 25-year-old Kelia Shkovsky of Poland, looking to best that result. And Martins Licis from the United States. He has the courage and confidence and has really used the energy from the big crowds here to his advantage.
And for the first time in the long and storied history of the World's Strongest Man, a pair of brothers will compete in the final. Luke and Tom Stoltman of Great Britain, the first siblings to qualify.
And here's a look at the full field of finalists this year. The other veterans here are J.F. Caron from Canada and Konstantin Janashia from Georgia. Also, in addition to the Stoltman brothers, Great Britain's Adam Bishop and the American Trey Mitchell will compete in their first World's Strongest Man final.
The crowd's certainly ready for it. We're moments away from the loading race here at Manatee Beach in Anna Maria Island.
Brent, incredible amounts of power, speed, and endurance will be tested here, as that's what's required to lift 4 punishingly heavy objects from the ground to platforms 12 meters away.
Great matchup here to open things. Trey Mitchell, the American, lives in Lumberton, Texas. First appearance at World's Strongest Man. Luke Stoltman of Great Britain resides in Scotland. The 42nd World's Strongest Man final about to begin as we await the whistle of tournament referee and strongman legend Magnus for Magnuson.
I like to call these dynamic movement events where it forces the athletes to use some athleticism as lie detectors. This will expose weaknesses, but right now, early on, Stoltman doesn't appear to have any. He's on a roll.
Onto the anvil here. He's got a pretty big lead.
He's doing an excellent job in his transitions, moving from one object to the next. Here's the 300-pound sack. Takes him a little while to get it turned, but once he does, he uses those powerful arms, big tree trunk legs, and back strength to get it up onto the platform.
Perfect form right now for Luke Stoltman, who is 9 years older than Trey Mitchell. And if he can seamlessly take this 300-pound sack to the other end, he will win this early matchup.
Look at him breathe there. He is huffing and puffing, but the first to complete.
Luke Stoltman of Great Britain, and then goes over to help out the American. Trey Mitchell, good effort by both guys.
Impressive by Mitchell. He was there the whole time competing, but it was Stoltman and his experience that gets it done.
Made it look easy in a time of 47.42. And Mitchell was able to get the 4 objects in 52.96.
From start to finish, Stoltman looked in control, but he was really gassed at the end. But he's got to feel really good about this start.
So 2 men have gone, and on to our next pairing. And another man from Great Britain in the final. It's Adam Bishop, 6'3", 313, 30 years of age. In the final for the first time. J.F. Caron of Canada in the World's Strongest Man final for the 7th time. The 36-year-old who resides in Quebec City.
Ready! Interesting technique there for Caron to start. He had pre-positioned the keg at an angle, which allowed him to pick it up quickly and make it to the platform first.
Onto the anvil, and the lead is J.F. Caron. It's a bobble there from Bishop, and that's going to cost him mightily.
It's going to cost him big time. That might have cost him this entire event. Unless Caron makes a mistake, which he's not prone to do, going to be really hard for Bishop to catch him.
The first of the 300-pound sacks is on the platform for Caron. He jogs back, and on to the 4th and final object, another 300-pound sack.
Keep in mind, these strongmen are doing this in sand. Look how gassed Caron is, focused, his head's so red, but he gets it done.
J.F. Caron, impressive. And not bad from Bishop as well, as he gets that second sack up on the platform to complete the task.
Representing Great Britain,
So Adam Bishop will currently be in 4th place.
representing Canada,
And J.F. Caron goes into the lead in the loading race. 4 objects, a time of 46.92.
Endurance played a role, but Caron's steady technique proved to be the difference as we see Bishop there in the background struggling. The wily vet using that experience for success.
When we come back, 6 more athletes compete in the loading race, including defending champion half-Thor Julius Bjornsson, who faced an early foot injury.
This won't affect my strength. It's just up here. Am I able to push through and not let this pain affect my performance? Because I came here with one goal, and that's to be a back-to-back champion.
Welcome back to Manatee Beach, where we continue the first event of the final, the loading race. 4 athletes have competed. J.F. Caron sets the mark to beat with a time of 46.92. Luke Stoltman right behind at 47.42. 6 athletes remaining. And the first one to talk about is Luke Stoltman's brother. This is Tom Stoltman, another first-time qualifier to the final from Great Britain. And the Georgian Bull from the country of Georgia, an absolute monster. Konstantin Janashia, 6'5", 375, 28 years of age.
Not a lot of holes in Janashia's game. Interested to see how Stoltman, there at the right of your screen, can compete, and they are at a dead neck-and-neck tie through the first barrel.
Tom Stoltman in the far lane takes advantage.
Stoltman's athleticism is really on display, but also his technique and transitions almost flawless as he moves through these heavy objects.
One more 300-pound sack for Stoltman. He's got the edge. But if he bobbles, you know Janashia will pounce. But that doesn't look to be the case. Tom Stoltman, impressive. 39.66 goes into the lead. And now Janashia, 46.97 is his time.
Wow.
Put your hands together for Konstantin Janashia.
So he goes into 3rd, Janashia does. 4 objects in 46.97. But wow is right. Tom Stoltman goes into the lead here in the loading race.
That was an incredible display by the rookie, because in a sport where confidence is a must, Stoltman's balanced style of endurance, strength, and athleticism gets the job done. Let's see if he can keep this up.
Representing the United States,
Martins Licis, the exciting young American. Lives in California, a fan favorite.
Representing the United States.
And Brian Shaw, part of the old guard, a four-time world's strongest man champion, trying to recapture the glory one more time.
Ready? Great start there by Licis. He started by lifting the keg facing the platforms, whereas Shaw was turned perpendicular to it, and that little difference has made for a much quicker start for Licis as he's just manhandling that anvil and throws it onto the platform.
You want to know what the future of strongman looks like, Aaron Taylor? It's that man in the far lane, the American Martins Licis.
He is dominant right now. Remember, at 355 pounds, this is the biggest he's ever been in this competition, and endurance matters here, but he looks really strong as he's picking up and jogging basically with this 300-pound sack towards the platform.
Not enough to unseat Stoltman in the lead in the loading race, but nevertheless an impressive time. And there's Shaw with hands off at 48.47. Disappointing start, obviously, for the veteran Shaw. One of the best ever. He will go into sixth place here in the loading race. And a heck of an effort from Martins Licis. Good enough to get him into second place. Got the four objects in 43.81.
That was an important head-to-head competition. And by the time it got to that second punishing 300-pound sack, you could see the strain on Licis' face, but nothing was going to keep him from getting to that platform first, not even a four-time champion.
You like that matchup? How about this one? Mateus Kelia Shkovsky, who I know moment by moment you are getting more and more impressed with. And what more do you want to say about the defending champion, half-Thor Julius Bjornsson?
And he's feeling it, really feeding off the crowd. Now remember, he had that foot injury in the qualifying round, so in an event like the loading race, which requires dynamic movement, that's something to keep an eye on.
Oh, this is a heavyweight battle here. It's a slight edge early on for Kelia Shkovsky, and now a bobble, and that is a costly mistake as half-Thor dropped the anvil.
Brent, that is a costly mistake. Remember, in last year's final, we saw Martins Licis drop a safe, which cost him some critical points. We might be seeing the same thing play out here this year with last year's champion.
Meantime, Kelia Ishkovsky. One more object. 300-pound sack. Time to beat 39.66. He's not going to be able to do that. Nevertheless, a nice time for Kelia Shkovsky. And now Thor with his hands off at 48.17. But you can see the disappointment on his face. And quite frankly, Kelia Shkovsky was a little bit disappointed as well. But he will finish second place in the loading race in 42.11. half-Thor a disappointing seventh in a time of 48.17.
And it was that costly bobble on the transition to the anvil that was clearly the turning point in this event for half-Thor, which made way for the strong finish by the Polish Punisher.
Representing Great Britain.
But the story is Tom Stoltman wins the first event in his first ever World's Strongest Man final. 39.66. Kelia Ishkovsky takes second, 42.11. Martins Licis in third. The two former champs, Bjornsson and Shaw, take seventh and eighth respectively. Here's Jenny Dell.
After the break, the overhead press. With 60 seconds on the clock, our strongmen will work their way through 4 implements. We got the double dumbbells with 125 pounds each. The monster dumbbell, 220 pounds. This barbell, 345 pounds. And last but not least, the heaviest, the log at 375 pounds. For each object, knees must be locked, arms fully extended. Who will press their way to the top? Find out next at the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man.
Welcome back to Anna Maria Island, the second event, the overhead press.
Brent, this is one of my favorites because it requires arm and shoulder pressing power, as our strongmen are going to be required to lift 4 sets of objects ranging from 125 to a grueling 375 pounds each.
And let's see how they fared.
A conventional double dumbbell press. A snap with that. And then you can either go the log or the circus barbells.
Representing the United States, Trey Mitchell.
Where I go, people, I tell people I'm from Texas, not from the U.S.
If this guy beat you, he's stronger. That's it.
I'm lifting much heavier weights than I've ever lifted before. I'm a little bit older, but also that much wiser. Cohen's incredible in terms of how long he's been in the sport. He's good at everything, but I'm better.
That was lightning.
Thank you, amigo.
It's so different from your day-to-day life. When I'm competing, I'm happy, I'm smiling.
I feeling very strong. No injured, nothing.
Is he okay?
Unfortunately, Konstantin Janashia, I think he's popped a tricep or a bicep. When he went down, I could hear him, and you want to go over and check if he's okay, but we've got a comp here, it's tough. A speedy recovery for Konstantin, great athlete.
The big battle that everybody's wanting to see is Brian versus Hafthor.
I think when you're the best, you don't really have any weaknesses.
Definitely made him feel very good to have finally won World's Strongest Man and get his first title.
I'm on the top of my career right now, and I can go in any show. Doesn't matter which events they bring, I'll win it.
They said tie.
They said tie.
They said tie.
I think that I can win this, if I don't mistake.
I'm confident enough to win it now for the next 7-8 years.
I just lift and go.
Hopefully I won't get beaten and live up to my name.
Last year, I took the second place. I would like be same or better, and no go down.
But then Mateusz just comes out and smashes it in 28 seconds like it's nothing.
I wanted to do better than Mateusz, but I did good, so I'm happy with that.
Kelia Shkovsky wins in 23.86. Leetzi's places second in 27.94. Shaw in third. Bjornsson fourth. Konstantin Janashia falls to injury. He's got to withdraw. That win puts Kelia Shkovsky into the lead, 19 points. Leetzi's now in second with 17. Tom Stoltman just behind with 16 points. Bjornsson and Shaw tied for fifth with 11 points each. Only 3 more events remain before we crown our 2019 champion. Up next, the athletes will put their bodies and resolve to the test in a 750-pound squat. Who can fight their way to the top? Find out when we come back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man, presented by Rogue. Welcome back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man final. Brent Stover, Aaron Taylor, and Jenny Dell here in Florida's Anna Maria Island, where the athletes will take on their third event, the squat lift.
Well, Brent, you don't get yourself to the squat lift by skipping leg day, but this one's going to test our strongmen here because they're going to be asked to lift a 750-pound squat bar. The most reps in the 75-second time limit wins.
4 athletes have already competed. First up was Great Britain's Adam Bishop, and he managed to set the mark with 5 reps. Then the man from Scotland, Luke Stoltman, also managing to get 5. The American Trey Mitchell, he was able to beat the Brits with 6 reps. And a veteran from Canada, JF Caron, taking the lead with 7 reps. Up next is Tom Stoltman, preparing to compete, his brother Luke helping him. It's the first time two brothers have been in the World's Strongest Man final. And let's hear their story in our Tachi Palace Power Profile.
Really nice to have Tom back. My father's out this time as well. I can only imagine how proud my father must be to have, two of his boys competing in the pinnacle of strength competition in the world.
And that's it. Tom Stoltman has qualified for the final. His dad, his wife, emotional. First set of brothers in the World's Strongest Man final.
How good is that? How good is that?
We said we're making the final this year, and yeah, we did it.
Two brothers from the Highlands of Scotland, a little village. Unbelievable. Couldn't wish for better.
My dad, he's a real strong man here with everyone, Like, he has the hardest thing in the world. Once he lost my mum, it was hard for everyone, but, well, he's out here today, and hopefully me and Luke can put on a show for him.
It's emotional for me. I just wish Mum was alive to see it. I hope she's up wherever she is, watching down, and she's proud of her baby boys.
My wife was the biggest supporter. If there was anybody screaming in the crowd, it'd be Sheila. The boys still love her. Tom still points to the sky.
I'm very passionate about being a Stoltman. I want to create that legacy. When people remember that name or say that name, Stoltman, they think of strength and strongman.
Now, Luke's already done his squat lift. Now it's Tom Stoltman's turn. He's in third after 2 events. The number to beat is 7.
Stoltman looking pretty good through those first 2 reps. Remember, the number to beat is 7. He's got third here, but this weight starts to add up, and the pain becomes immense right at this point. Look at the look on his face. He's feeling it. Oh!
When it goes quickly, and now he wants help to get it back on the bar.
Thank you. 5 is enough.
Heck of a job there. Even with assistance, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about this weight.
Tom Stoltman has been so impressive this entire competition. Just tremendous technique there. That's 750 pounds, folks, that he just drops gently on those red pads and then locks it out.
Iceland's half-Thor Julius Bjornsson. It's clear by the way he's moving that he's in pain. He's got the foot injury that we have documented throughout this competition. So how will that affect him here? We're about to find out.
He's got some of the strongest legs on this planet. A little uneven there in Ginger as he dropped it down. You can see he's feeling it already. Not stable at all. That could have been catastrophic, that little bobble there with that much weight on his shoulders. Thor better be careful here.
Let's see if he can rebound. Again, the number to beat is 7, set by Canada's JF Caron. 4 so far for half-Thor. And now he's at 5, so he has responded well after some early struggles.
An incredible recovery. Not only could that have ended the competition for him, he could have got himself hurt as he just drops. That bar, man.
He was able to tie Caron, but I think the bigger story is the way he finished right there. Immediate assistance.
He's such a competitor. That long pause there at the bottom, he's just fighting through the pain to get every rep he can.
And again, he's the co-leader in this event with Caron. With only 2 points separating Poland's Mateusz Kelia Shkovsky and his rival, American Martins Licis, who can dominate the squat lift and come out on top. The continuation of event number 3 when we come back to the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man presented by Rogue. The crowds are amazing out here in Manatee Beach for the continuation of the squat lifts. And here's a look at our scores so far. Bjornsson and Caron tied for first with 7 reps. Mitchell in third with 6. Bishop and the Stoltman brothers are tied for fourth with 5 reps. So here's Brian Shaw. This is his 11th consecutive appearance in the final, extending his own record. His only miss was his debut in 2008. So you wonder, Aaron, how much experience will play a role here.
The experience that Shaw brings in is his mental toughness and strength. The mentality to stay focused and avoid the costly mistakes are why he's been so successful.
It's interesting to note that he's wearing gloves.
Everything Brian Shaw does is with intention. Even the way he's lowering this massive weight, it's like he's a coiled spring waiting to get to the bottom and then just unleashes after that eccentric movement and pushes his hips through, and he is repping these out one after the other.
Number to beat is 7. He's at 6, and to your point, he loves to control the situation. He does not like variables.
He is a thoughtful giant, powerful and intellectual at the same time, but he's feeling the 750 pounds.
Well, he goes in the lead with his 8th, and now trying to pad that lead. Can he get a 9th?
Ooh.
No.
Brent, he suddenly dropped that barbell. Looks like he's almost out on his feet, like he's gonna pass out there.
Man.
He's staggering. And why wouldn't he? 750 pounds, look how deep he is. Muscles burning, starved for oxygen, putting your body under so much pressure and stress.
Representing the United States, Martine.
We have seen some courageous efforts in this event, and now we get to Leetsies, who's currently in 2nd here in the final. He trained with Thor in the last year in both Los Angeles as well as Iceland to help gain experience and learn from the defending champion. We'll see how that works out here.
The squat lift is an event, Brent, that is very quad dominant. Certainly not a problem for Martine's Leetsies. One of the things I'm noticing is he's really attacking this weight. Has a little bit of a reset and bobble there. But what we saw with Shaw and Thor, they were very gingerly dropping the weight, whereas Leetsies is really attacking it.
9 for Leetsies. And he goes into the lead. Double checking with Magnus for Magnuson, the head referee. And indeed, that mark of 9, with 1 man left to go, Kelia Shkovsky, that mark of 9 is the lead.
Just an incredible display of lower body strength by Martine's Leetsies. He was bouncing it off the pads a little bit, but he really seemed to get stronger after that reset. Look at that depth and explosion as he pushes up through his heels and locks his hips out.
Leetsies and this man, Kelia Shkovsky, have been called the future of strongman. And because of their tight battles in big competitions, theirs has been called the best rivalry in strongman. And this another tight battle on the sport's biggest stage.
This isn't one of Kelia Ishkovsky's stronger events. He likes the events where you can move and carry and use his athleticism, but he's been working really hard to get stronger in this area. Really see him attacking the weight too, dropping it, but it's uneven. And when you have that much weight on your back, you have to stabilize that as well. But this may be as good as I've seen him in this event.
Biggest supporter in his life is his wife, Alexandra. And again, we've seen her in competitions in the past. He says she actually knows more about the sport than I do, but she's unable to be here. She is 7 months pregnant. Meantime, Keeley Ishkovsky has to tap out at 7, and he will settle for a 3-way tie for 3rd in this event. He's asking for 8 or 9. A little disappointed with 7. Nevertheless, a tie for 3rd in the squat lift for the man from Poland.
Keeley Ishkovsky's got to feel great about his effort here. So gutsy. It's clear that he's worked on his leg strength, and it was clearly on display.
So Leetsies is the winner, and he's standing by with Jenny Dell.
Martins, you just took the lead. I know you're competing against all the guys here, but I sense as there's a little rivalry going between you and Kelia Shkovsky. Can you explain that a little bit?
You bet. Ever since we started competing together, we've always ended up neck and neck. And he takes the lead, and I take the lead, and we go back and forth.
So why is this gonna be the year that you become out on top?
Because I'm stronger.
You're stronger. How do you feel about the rest of the events in this competition?
It's gonna really come down to the grip. He has a very strong grip. I have a very strong grip. But one little slip or taking it for granted could cost everything.
Great job out there.
Thank you.
So Leetsies wins his first event of the final with 9 reps. Shaw in second with 8. Bjornsson, Caron, and Kelia Shkovsky tie for third with 7 reps each. With that win, Leetsies takes the overall lead with 27 points. Kelia Shkovsky 1 point back with 26. 4-time champ Brian Shaw currently in third, and the defending champ, Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson, all the way back in 6th. Here again is Jenny Dell.
After the break, the deadlift. But this isn't any normal deadlift. Our strongmen will be holding a Monster Jam Speedster. They'll lift and hold it for as long as possible. But to make things interesting, we're going to have 2 athletes go at a time, face to face. What's more intimidating than staring down your competition? Maybe holding a 700-pound Speedster. The deadlift is next at the Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man Final.
These vehicles hit the dirt as well, but today they'll challenge our finalists in the Monster Jam Speedster Deadlift.
And Brent, this is a slightly different variation on a strongman classic, where athletes are going to be required to lift a combined weight of 700 pounds and hold it. This is a static event for time. The guy that can hang on the longest wins.
5 athletes have already competed. JF Caron leads with a time of 38.57. Bishop in second, and 4 athletes remain.
Representing Poland, Kelia Shkovsky.
Here's Kelia Ishkovsky, just 1 point behind the leader, his rival Martins Leetsies. At Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson, a disappointing 6th so far after 3 events. He's got to make a big move.
Well, it's interesting here because the deadlift is one of Thor's strengths and one of Keeley Ishkovsky's weaknesses. But as you see there, very thin handles, no straps. This isn't about hip strength. This is about grip strength. And this should be a pretty fair fight.
It's interesting to note, both guys have their eyes closed so that they don't look at each other, which is kind of hard to do. If you were to open your eyes, you're right there just a couple feet away face to face.
Trying to go inside to their happy place, maintain their focus, and mental resiliency here is equally as important as strength because the pain at this point starts to become unbearable.
Time to beat 38.57 as we close in on 30 seconds.
Kelia Shkovsky starting to feel it. Thor looking steady. Kelia Shkovsky almost drops it, and then he does.
Meantime, Half-Thor still holding steady. Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson throws down a 45.29. Meanwhile, Keeley Ishkovsky, you can sense the disappointment that he missed out on a golden opportunity.
Your new leader, full time.
And Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson goes into the lead in the deadlift.
Half-Thor Julius Bjornsson.
Keeley Ishkovsky may have missed his opportunity, but what a gutsy effort through the end. And what can you say about Half-Thor? He probably knows he's not going to make it to the top of the podium this year, but he's still out there enjoying it with the crowd.
Representing the United States.
So that brings up the 4-time World's Strongest Man champion, Brian Shaw, 3rd place after 3 events. He's been on the podium 9 times. Martins Leetsies. He's the leader after 3 events. He's got a 1-point edge over Keeley Ishkovsky.
What a head-to-head battle here. This is 100% about mindset and grip strength. When you have 700 pounds with those thin handles in your hands without straps, the pain is immense. This is about what these men can endure versus how strong they are.
It's a heavyweight game of chess between these two. Got that hat pulled down low, Leetsies. We always talk about he's an entertainer, he's exciting. The hat fits perfectly with his personality.
Steady focus. What you would expect, 4-time champion on the right and possibly a future champion on the left, and Shaw drops it.
He's going to be disappointed with that. 30.19, 45.29 is the time to beat. Can Leetsies? No, he cannot get there. He settles for 41.25. Can sense the disappointment for Shaw, and perhaps a changing of the guard here. Martins Leetsies knows that he is in a beautiful position heading into the final event. While Shaw, the 4-time champ, A disappointing 7th place finish here in the deadlift.
Bradenton, let's hear it for Martins Lisi.
Leetsies, meanwhile, with a 2nd place finish in the deadlift with a time of 41.25. Shaw gave it a great effort, but his hands in the end failed him. Again, he looks at him. How could you let me down? Clearly disappointed as Leetsies celebrates.
Blowing kisses to the crowd, Martins Leetsies. But the winner of the event is the defending champion, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson. In a time of 45.29, Bjornsson gets it done. Leetsies in 2nd, 41.25. Caron takes 3rd with a time of 38.57. Leetsies stays on top with 36 points, seeking his first World's Strongest Man title. Kelia Shkovsky also looking for the crown. He's in 2nd with 31. We will see if he can overtake Leetsies in the final event. Coming up next, it is the Atlas Stones to determine the champion. And 2017 champ Eddie Hall has some advice for Martins Leetsies.
He's got to act professional now. He's got to attack these stones like he would if he was in last place. There's a lot of pressure on Martins, and it's quite easy for a man to fold. You know, the nerves are kicking. Taking me back to my World's Strongest Man win, I was 4 points in the lead going into the last event. And believe me, this is when the nerves set in. This defines the men from the boys.
Welcome back to Bradenton, Florida, and this is it. We are moments away from crowning the 2019 World's Strongest Man. One event left, the iconic Atlas Stones.
Iconic is right, Brent, because it all comes down to this, where our athletes will lift 5 stones from the ground up onto the platforms, ranging from 330 to 460 pounds in 60 seconds.
Scores so far. Tom Stoltman leads with a time of 35.47. Shaw sits in 2nd, Mitchell in 3rd, Luke Stoltman and Bishop 4th and 5th, lifting 3 stones
Canada,
each.
Caron.
The Canadian veteran J.F. Caron, seeking his first World's Strongest Man podium finish.
Representing Iceland, Hafthor
The defending
Julius
champion Hafthor Julius Bjornsson, seeking his 8th straight World's Strongest Man podium.
Get set. Ready.
This is a test of overall strength. Hafthor, look how easily he picks up that first 330-pound stone as he makes his way through the 350.
390 is up next. Not a problem for both of these veterans. On to the 440-pound stone, and Thor gets it done. And now to the 460-pounder for the man from Iceland and the defending champion. What a way to close it out.
See Hafthor celebrating there. J.F. Caron, one of the most senior veteran competitors here. Not as tall as Hafthor, so a little bit at a disadvantage, but he really wants this 5th and final 460-pound stone.
This is for pride right here. Crowd urging him along, and Caron, both men satisfied.
You hear him saying, I did it. So much of this competition is against yourself, Brent. And Caron represents that beautifully.
You can see what it means for both guys to get all 5 stones. Thor won the title last year. Not gonna happen this year, but nevertheless, a heck of an effort.
Stones is one of his better events. He's so tall and so strong, that upper thoracic back strength just belly bumping that 460-pounder onto the platform.
So the title will come down to this. Mateusz Kelia Shkovsky in 2nd place. He is 5 points behind Martins Leetsies.
Representing the United States, Martins Leetsies.
The young American Leetsies, the future of strongman, leads after 4 events. This is his 4th appearance at World's Strongest Man, looking for his first title.
Does he have the mental fortitude and focus to not make a mistake here?
He essentially just needs to take care of business. It's a dead heat after 2 stones.
Leachy's focus looks on point as he easily grabs that stone and puts it on the platform.
440-pound stone is up. Final stone for the title, 460 pounds, the American Martins Licis. And with that, he is the 2019 World's Strongest Man.
Incredible. Now he's encouraging his rival, Kelia Shkovsky, in the most defining moment of Leachy's career.
Kelia Shkovsky disappointed. He will settle for second place. And there's half-Thor Julius Bjornsson, last year's champ. His good friend and training partner, Licis, this year's champ.
Sportsmanship at its finest.
What a scene here in Bradenton.
And the winner of the Atlas Stone with a time of 27.41 seconds. Clinching his spot as the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man Champion, representing the United States, Martins Licis.
And with that fifth and final stone, you have to wonder if Licis is ushering in a brand new era of strongman.
The 2019 champion here in Bradenton. He's standing by with Jenny Dell.
Martins, it's been said that you are the future of World's Strongest Man, and you just won the world's strongest man. What does this mean to you?
I'm hungry and I'm tired. Oh my goodness, this is something to absorb. Waking up every day, working towards this, wanting nothing but to be the world's strongest man. And in this moment, I don't know if this is a dream or if it's a reality.
Someone that was cheering you on, half-Thor Julius Bjornsson out here. What did he say to you?
How surreal is that? The previous world champion coming out here to congratulate me. Such a good friend of mine. Unbelievable.
Can we expect you back next year?
You bet. I'm coming back.
All right, let's get this crowd riled up. Congratulations on being the 2019 Tachi Palace World's Strongest Man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you! So Martins Licis captures the title. Kelia Ishkovsky, the runner-up with 38 points. Even with injury, Bjornsson fought his way to stay on the podium, taking third, and four-time champ Brian Shaw settles for sixth. For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, and our entire CBS crew, I'm Brent Stover. In association with Endeavor Content, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports. Martins Licis will now revel in the moment, and who better to kick off the celebration than the reigning Miss USA, Chesley Christ.
It is an incredible feeling to be up here today among this amazing group of athletes. They really are the world's strongest men.
I am proud to present this championship trophy for the world's strongest man to Martins Licis.
Without my dad. He trained me when I was 9 years old. Happy Father's Day, everybody!
World's strongest man.
That happened.
I said it 2 years ago. I said Martins will win the world's strongest man. And he's had the confidence, he's had the arrogance to back it up, and he said it out loud, and I like that. Martins Licis, the world's strongest man. Big love.
What a show. 4 years in the making. Here we go.